everyone. Welcome back to the BlueWater Podcast. I'm Molly.
And I'm Kyle, and today's guest is kind of a big deal.
She's a local legend in real estate and one of the most respected leaders in the game.
She's a top producer, a fierce negotiator, a client favorite, but most of all, just a super cool human. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Karen Ward. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you, guys.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
All right. Well,
glad to be here.
We have been looking forward to this, to being able to meet with you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So before we dive into all things real estate, we want to back up a little bit and just get to know your backstory and just rewind. So,
Yeah. So tell us your story. I know, Karen, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about how you got into real estate, what inspires you, what motivates you. Just tell our listeners a little bit about your background.
Sure.
Yeah. And also, like, did you always want to end up in real estate, or what was the process there? And
as far as getting into real estate, there have been a couple times in my life when I considered it. Back in the late 90s, I was really seriously looking at it. And my grandfather, who I looked up to, had an amazing business sense. And he thought I had a really good career doing what I was doing and that I was very good at what I was doing. And so he kind of talked me out of it. You know, he talked about how the market could fluctuate and it's feast or famine and those kind of things. And I should just stick with that W-2 income and with what I knew. So I did not go for it then. Fast forward a few years down the road, thought about it again, kind of put it, in the back of my mind. And then I realized one day I went from super happy in my career and fulfilled to almost totally burned out and not happy doing what I was doing anymore. And I said, something's got to change.
What were you doing?
I was in healthcare administration for over 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And the last 18 years of that, I spent as a practice manager running a very successful big practice. And I wore many hats, from facilities management to HR, accounting, you name it. So I was on call for the practice 24/7. It was my life and just got burned out.
That's the case with so many people in our industry. Sometimes they start out on a different track,
right?
But then they transition, and once you hear their story, it all makes sense. What I think's interesting about your story is you kind of had the interest early on.
I did.
But kind of listened to some of your family members and
he was right, and I know he was right, but I really trusted his opinion with things, and I wouldn't have gone against that back then.
Well, and you developed, and the interesting thing about you, it wasn't your real estate wasn't you didn't end up in real estate because your first career didn't work out. You were very
I could go back to that career today.
Extremely successful in your first career, your career before getting into real estate. So I have a question for you. And we've talked about this a lot, but we hear about our why. Why do we do this? What keeps us grounded? What keeps you getting up every day? What keeps you working like you're working every day to do what you do?
Right. I've given that some thought, and I think my whole entire life I've had that get up and go mentality, that grind. I guess, a lot of people throw out the term hustle. I've always worked hard and given everything my all. I think that comes through, my genetics. My parents were hard workers. My dad was a police officer for nearly 40 years after the Navy, but he always had a side hustle, because like a lot of people who are in that are civil servants, they don't make a lot of money. And so he did stuff like he ran a Christmas tree farm at Christmas time. He had a company called A-Line Painting where he'd go in and he'd do parking lots and things that needed, striping and things like that. So he always had a little something else going on, to supplement his income. And I just, that's kind of how I'm programmed. I'm also programmed to just
entrepreneur. I mean, you've got entrepreneurship in your veins.
Yeah, but I also have, I'm not going to do something halfway. Like if I'm going to take on something, I'm going to see it to the end. I have to do it correctly. That's another trait that I know I got from my dad, because the same qualities that he has that used to drive me crazy when I was younger, I realized that I do the same thing. And
it's fun.
You can't hide from your genetics.
I was going to say it is funny how that works. What do they say? We teach what we know, but we reproduce who we are.
And that's a fact. That's how it is.
Well, you come from a long line of just very hard workers, and so it's in you to be an entrepreneur, and so again and I know you have a deep love. I know you have a deep love for helping people, and talk to us about that for a second.
Well, I've always had a deep love of not only helping people, but protecting people from, or helping them through something, to making sure that they're getting a fair shake or that they're being looked after. And this is a really good career for that, because what are we doing? We're protecting people through one of the biggest transactions of their life. Another big reason for me getting into this is some years back, I bought a home as a single mom. Got in my home only to find out that there was a big problem. The house had termites, and I had inspections and things like that. Long story short, there were some non-disclosure issues when I bought the house. So I immediately called my buyer's agent, who happens to work here with us. Her name? And her name is Debbie Kosick. I met her in 2003 when she helped me buy my home.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
And we have been friends ever since that, because when I called her and let her know what had been discovered, she immediately went to work on my behalf like a bulldog. And I was made whole. The people on the other side, her broker, or Debbie's broker, and Debbie got involved and helped me through the whole process. Everything was taken care of and handled, and that could have gone in a very different way. So I became friends with her, like I said, and I saw someone with, a quality that's what real estate needs to be. And every genre has a bad seed or what. And I knew that no matter which side I was on, I wanted to be on the right side of the law, of the rules and regulations regarding real estate, because that could have been a really bad situation for me. It probably would have ruined me financially, but she stepped up, came to the plate. And so when I decided I'm going to, go back and think about real estate again, I just couldn't get Debbie out of my mind, and who she is and what she represents, which is someone with good character.
But I love that it's not just about making big sales or selling houses. It's about helping people. And you said
everyone deserves that protection.
And also just imagining probably the stress you were feeling as a single mom. You just bought a house, and that's a huge deal. And you probably felt like a sense of like, okay, I did it. And then there's termites. So
I'd worked 2 jobs for like 2 years to have the money to put down on the house. And so that it took my all to get into the house. And then that was discovered. And long story short, between a termite guy that had inspected it the time before, and then Debbie and her broker, they really went to bat for me and made the other side make it right. So
we're going to talk about mentorship and mindset, but I'll tell you your Debbie Kosick story. What's really cool about that is at that time, Debbie didn't know that you would ultimately become one of the top producers in this area. So you had, which Debbie is a superstar in my book. She is I tell you, she's a legend in so many ways. She's a legend in this area with how she deals with people. But because of how she dealt with you, took a bad situation, it motivated, inspired you to become what you are today.
Right.
And now you're doing the very thing that she did.
She will
with
often text me and tell me how proud she is of me. And I always come back and I tell her, I'm just following what you do.
Yeah.
Like I want to be, the Debbie Kosick for my clients. I want to make sure that they are protected even after the sale.
Yeah.
Like for me, the real estate transaction does not stop the minute I walk from that closing table. And my clients know that. If you need me, call me, text me, whatever, I'm there for them.
Yeah. And also, hearing your story, I was just thinking about it. Somebody who doesn't really know real estate or the industry might think, well, Miss Debbie was just doing her job. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of, not all agents are like that.
No.
They wouldn't have went to bat for you and worked as hard to fix the bad situation.
Well, and also, so you had a positive experience, but you think of the, I think, what is it? There's 220,000, 230,000 agents in the state of Florida.
Right. That's crazy.
How many agents have been observed other realtors not doing what they're supposed to do, or not demonstrating those, the high level of ethics and class and care. You see what I mean? So,
Right.
so I think that's certainly an issue in our industry that we as realtors and agents, how we conduct ourselves, it's having an impact not just on our customers,
Right.
but on the future of our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened with you. So
would you say that that's part of your how you've built such a name for yourself in this industry, like just the effort you put into it, the relationships with your clients? Or tell us a little bit about that, like your how do you do it?
I do get to know my clients very well, and I listen. I mean, I think that's first and foremost, listening to what they want. I have people come to me that say, well, we've been looking for 3 months, but we're not going to go with agent ABC because they keep sending us houses that they're nothing like what we told her, So there's that, and my reputation, I think, speaks for itself too. So I do get a lot of referrals. Most of my business at this point is referral driven. Yesterday, I got a call from a brother of a couple that I just sold a house for a couple years ago, and it was a probate situation, and it was a mess, but we made it to the end, and they have referred me to 3 or 4 of their friends. So it's, so that speaks volumes, and that I'm more proud of that than any, I could have a $50,000 advertising budget that I could just go crazy with, but I'd rather get those calls that, hey, so-and-so gave me your number.
Yeah.
Well, and if there was such a thing as a resume or a portfolio of real estate issues, and you and I've talked, the real value that an agent brings is to bring that expertise and that calmness and that clarity when those disasters hit and it happens all of the time.
That's what separates
every
a lot of us.
Single day I hear about the people who are trying to for sale by owner, or they're hiring an agent that does not have the backing or the skill set that helps them succeed, and it can when it goes south, it's a disaster. I've seen you step up and with that calmness and that clarity resolve very complex real estate situations.
I've had some doozies, yeah.
But if you had a portfolio or a resume of all of those situations,
that still made it to the finish line,
it would be enormous.
Yes.
It would be
really
enormous. And that, in my opinion, is one of the reasons, that you've been able to rise to the level that you're at now. Because let's be honest, it is not your business is booming. You are doing great, but this is a tough market.
This is a tough market.
And
the deals are tougher.
And
even the ones that you get, they're a little harder.
The deals are harder. Last month, I believe it set a record. There were more deals that fell through than in the history since it's ever even been tracked. So there were more deals that went to contract, and for whatever reason, they didn't make it to the closing, and that was the highest, the highest number of those types of deals in the history. So what you bring, you're able to keep deals together, you're able to make them happen. And the thing is, when we do our deals, when we do our job the way we're supposed to, a lot of times the customer doesn't even know. We just handle those types of issues.
Right. There's a lot that goes on in the background that you try to keep that off of your client, the stress of it, at least until you've solved it. I'm usually come clean and tell them, by the way, we had a little hiccup today.
Yeah,
but
you don't want to freak them out.
But it's behind us. Here's what I did, and here's how we fixed it. I do pride myself on having a very low termination or cancellation level. I don't have a lot of deals once we get under contract that fall out of contract because I'm super thorough too. I know the contract well. I know all of the forms and addendums that go with them very well. And I also have you, Kyle, to go to when something I'm pretty adamant that I understand, and maybe someone on the other side says, no, it's this, this, and this. And so I'll get with Kyle a lot and talk to him about that, talk it through, just to be sure that this is my understanding of what this says, and most of the time I am correct in there on the other side. But if I'm wrong, then, I get a better understanding, because the more deals you do, the more you learn about those little intricate things.
You know what I've noticed, and we're going to go on because we got a real fun section we want to get to here. But what I've noticed with you, which is a very incredible characteristic for success, is early on, you embrace the fact that being successful is not a solo sport.
Right.
You collaborate with the agents, not just within BlueWater, but I see you collaborating and mentoring and helping agents in other companies.
Right.
And then also, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, Jamie, your husband. He's my biggest supporter and cheerleader. And I tell you, and he is a real estate expert.
Mm-hmm. He knows his stuff
in
too.
in his own right. So you and Jamie, and just the way the two of you go about operating in this community, and what do they say? It all comes down to the relationship, regardless of what industry you're in.
And also, I think too, like he was just saying about, we see how you mentor others, and it's not you view it as like a team thing, and you help people. Right. Because of that, I feel like, I know I'm a newly licensed real estate agent, and I see what you do and what some of the other real estate agents do, and I'm just like, how are they doing that? Like, how are they so good? And I know I look up to you so much, and other agents in the industry do as well.
And you can always come to me about anything. I am not. I know there's a lot of agents that will not, or they feel threatened to help others. I believe in showing people grace, and I also believe that all of that information that it's taken me these years to learn, why not share that with someone else? Mm-hmm. Like I don't have secret. I'll spill the tea. I'll tell you how I'm doing it or what I'm doing.
Well, one of the highest compliments that you can hear when you're in this industry, I talk with your customers. Mm-hmm. I talk with your clients. I talk with the people who do business with you, and I hear it should be encouraging when I hear when an issue pops up, they'll say, "Oh, I'm not worried about that. Karen knows how to handle that. Karen can handle that." That's the type of confidence that your customers have in you, and that's what we all want to aspire to. Okay, so I said this metric real quick, and I just want to spend just a second here, because we have so many agents out there that it's tough. It is a tough industry to make it in. Let's just talk a minute about your advice.
Okay.
What would you say to that new agent who may be recently licensed, or who may be transitioning into this full-time, who looks at you and what you've been able to do? What would you say to them to make it in this market?
I'd say not to quit, to keep going. When I got my license, I was still working. a full-time job at the time, but it was 6 or 8 months before I closed my first deal. And I remember looking back and saying to myself, or saying to my husband, I went through this class. I paid all of this money to get my license, and I've paid for this, and I'm paying for Zillow ads. Nothing's happening, and I'm just a fail. I just felt like I was a failure. And my husband's like, "No, you're not. You're going to keep going. You wanted this. Now you got to figure out how it works." And so I remember closing that first deal. That sweet couple who I'm still friends with today, that trusted me enough to get them to the finish line, and I don't know. I've worked with some of their family members and friends and things like that since then. I would say keep going. You got to answer your phone. You got to stay in touch with people. Let the people know that you're recently licensed or that you have a license. Get out there. You don't have to join every committee and all of that kind of stuff to get out there, but get out and meet people.
Yeah. Well, we could give
meet them where they are.
We need to do a master class on just this topic. We could talk for hours. I'll tell you, one of the highest compliments and one of the reasons I've always been impressed with you. I don't think I have ever seen you in a bad mood. You are just wired. You are wired. I mean, you are.
Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen you in a bad mood.
Your
either.
work ethic, how. Does that come easy, or do you just mentally have to put because you seem, no matter what's going on in the market, no matter how much stress is bearing down, you just always are positive. You're optimistic.
Well,
you never stop. What's your secret there? Because
that's how I knew I was burned out in my last career. Because was I in a bad mood? No, but I was not necessarily in a good mood. And I would get up on Mondays and I felt like my soul had left my body. I just felt so drained. And I went to lunch one day by myself, and I sat there eating a salad, and I thought, I'm doing, by this time, this is a practice that I started with just a minimal staff, very small practice. We built a new building. We had 2 more locations. I had 30-something people under me. And I thought, I'm not doing these people any good, because that Karen that would come in every day with that optimistic approach was just coming in on autopilot. And that's not what I wanted anymore. So once I did this, once I finally made the goal to get out of the W-2 rat race and do this on my own, I get up in the morning and I try to put my best face on. And I think I've told you this before. I get up every morning and I tell myself I'm self-employed or I'm unemployed. I got to get out and find the next deal.
Oh, that's such a good mindset.
Now that is so you get up with a mindset, I'm unemployed. I've got to make it happen
I think that would be a great thing to tell people coming out.
Yeah.
Don't be like me and think when you got your real estate license that your phone is just going to magically start ringing. That's not going to be the case. You can sit and you can send 5,000 postcards out to homeowners about listing their house. You may never get a call, or you may get a call from that person who got your postcard 5 years before and set it in a drawer, and then they called you.
Yeah.
And that happened to me. I got a listing not long ago, and I said, well, how did you find me? Who did someone refer you? Oh, no. She got up and she went and got the postcard. I literally sent that postcard out, 6 years ago, because I was still with Marcia Tucker.
Yeah.
So,
and Marcia's a legend.
Marcia's the one who told me.
Marcia, I have so much respect for her. Mm-hmm. She was one of those pioneers in this industry. Yep. And you're an inspiration, not just to the other agents on our team and other agents in our under our network of agents in this whole area. You're an inspiration really to the community here. So,
I absolutely love what I do, and that makes a difference.
Well, and just the mindset and your the way you go about working and what you do is truly, truly remarkable. And I hear all of the time from other agents, not just within BlueWater, because we have some phenomenal real estate companies in this area, but I hear from other great agents just how impressed they are with you. So a lot of folks
have some great people around here.
We do. A lot of people are watching, and you're really setting the bar high for all of the agents in this area. Okay, Molly, we're going to have some fun here, right? We want to talk a little bit, what are we calling this? Life outside of the listings. We want to talk to you a little bit about not the real estate stuff.
So when you're not showing homes and working and stuff, what does a weekend what do you do on your weekends where you're not working and you can do whatever you want?
Well, I don't know about whatever I want. So weekends for a real estate agent, they don't always exist.
Okay, well, let's pretend. Let's just pretend. So on the
pretend I actually have a day off. Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Just what do you do to relax and unwind?
All right.
Maybe that's a better way for me to ask.
Okay. So in my spare time from real estate, I am kind of connected to more real estate in a different kind of way. So my husband buys, renovates, and sells homes, house flipping.
Mm-hmm.
So I do help him with picking things out. Ideas and things like that, or going to pick stuff up, going down to take a look at the house and give him my opinion on the way things are going or whatever. So I'm pretty involved.
So when you're not working,
when you're not working,
I'm working.
You're working.
Right. So I do a lot of that, but also we have recently, over the last 2 years, started cruising a lot. And if I'm not doing real estate, I may be on a cruise ship, but I could be on a cruise ship doing real estate too, because I've actually negotiated deals.
Yeah, I was about to say that on the
Karen,
ship.
Okay, and I know you're super humble, but wasn't it a few weeks ago? Didn't you do almost 1.5 close?
I got 3 houses under contract while I was sitting in Nassau, Bahamas.
That is awesome.
Day, and I ran down to the guest services desk to go ahead and pay for the internet server, the Wi-Fi on the ship, because I was worried when we left Nassau, if things were coming through, I wouldn't be able to get, the paperwork or the emails. So, and that,
That's cool.
Not just got the contract in, but actually got them under contract and done. And I actually, I do work with a local builder here, and he called me about some other things, and I said, okay, well, I'll give you a call, tomorrow. And I said, well, I should have service. And I said something about, he said, well, where are you? I said, well, I'm in Nassau right now. And you answered the phone.
Crazy
I'm yes, I'm going to answer the phone, because when I'm selling your house, I'm going to answer the phone when somebody calls about the house.
Well, I know we've talked about, because I've went on 2 cruises, I think, but we've talked about cruises before. Those packages are crazy.
They are.
The internet package.
Well, let me tell you something. If you're on a cruise and you're working, it's a business expense. The Wi-Fi is. So I know those Wi-Fi packages could be a little bit much. I think it was $100 for that.
Wait, do they have different plans?
They have Wi-Fi packages that you can buy, so you have service while you're on the ship.
I thought they just had one, but they have one for business related things.
No.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's how I'm like.
That's true.
I bought it one time, and I'm like, I think this would be a business expense. My husband's like, I don't see any other reason why you would have had it turned on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've gotten it every time, but
Right.
Me and Sage, we don't both get it. I'm like, you can just use my phone.
Right.
Because
Let me log out.
Yeah. And then we're always fighting over who can use the Wi-Fi.
What's kind of neat to me is just the deals that you negotiate. You may be, all over the globe. And we've got deals in North Florida being negotiated.
I was the time before that in May, I was in Alaska, and that I got one under contract, but I also had to negotiate some really tough repairs negotiations, and made it through that though.
Yeah.
So I love it. I don't, people will ask me, some of my clients will say, well, aren't you on vacation? Because a lot of the times they're friends with me on Facebook. I'm like, I am, but remember I told you that I'm available, or I'll tell people ahead of time before I leave.
And that time, and you got to keep it in check, because you've got to keep that balance. You've seen it. We've seen agents that burn out, and you've got to do that in this. In this industry.
I do have a new rule that I started about 6 months ago. I do not answer my phone after 8 p.m. And I have text messages silenced, because and my husband brought this up. Sometimes he'd see me like texting at midnight because, well, my client just texted me. It's at 11:15. It's like, you got to get some rest, you know.
And 8 p.m. is actually pretty late, too.
Yeah, 8 p.m. I think is late. That's long after business hours. And the thing about it is, if I find out about it at 8:30, 9:30 at night, most likely I can't jump on resolving the problem until first thing in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
But Karen, what you're not telling the full story, you are a super early. I
am.
You get up super early.
I know sometimes you get emails from me at 4:30.
Yeah. So the emails and from you at 4:00 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. So you get started early. Yeah,
you know, I want to be a morning person like that so bad. I just
not always up that early, but yeah.
What's the latest you've slept in, like recently? To what time?
Maybe 7 or 7:30.
Oh,
that's good. That's good.
I'm not even going to say what I can sleep into.
Then when I was your age, I could probably sleep till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, I think that changes. I think our clocks kind of change the older you get to. Because you remember, if you think about it, like you remember your grandparents up at what you're just going to bed and they're up making coffee. You know?
Well, this is this is going to be kind of we're going to have you on regularly. We want to showcase this. We love real estate. We love this community. We want to spotlight, the best agents. We want to spotlight what's going on. So we want to have you back in. But one of the things we want to do here is the purpose is we want to peel back the covers a little bit. We want to hit you with. We want to learn a few things about Karen Ann Ward that nobody may know.
Okay. So it's called the lightning round.
We call it
it's my favorite part.
So Molly, you tell
so
Karen
the lightning round is basically, I'm going to ask you a list of questions. It's not all about real estate, just random things. Okay. And the point of it is you answer as fast as you can.
Okay.
And we'll just boom, 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 boom. Okay. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But don't be nervous.
All right.
I won't ask you anything too bad. So, all right. You ready?
Okay.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Morning person or night owl?
Sometimes I could be both.
Really?
Yeah. Morning, though. I would say morning.
Dream vacation destination?
Bora Bora.
Oh, Bora Bora. I want to go there too. What's something always in your car?
Real estate signs.
Oh, that's good.
First concert you ever went to?
To date myself. Rick Springfield and Corey Hart, who you probably never heard of. He was a one-hit wonder. He had the Sunglasses at Night song back in the 80s. This was 1984, and I was in high school, and it was the first concert I ever
That
had.
was when real music. That was when real music existed, Karen.
Right, and we had front row seats, and I actually got a guitar pick that they threw out in the audience.
Do you still have it?
I do.
That's cool.
I keep it in my jewelry box. And so Rick Springfield's big song back then was Jesse's Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. That's a good one.
My oldest son is named Jesse.
Because of the song?
Not because of the song, no. No, but it all just kind of fits.
Yeah. All right. So favorite way to celebrate after closing?
Oh, it depends on where it is. If it's in Tallahassee, I always go by Chick-fil-A because we don't have a Chick-fil-A here. And I get a Chick-fil-A on the way home.
That's a good way to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Christian chicken. What is your favorite movie of all time? Your favorite comfort movie or show?
Okay, Titanic was pretty good. And that's one, if it's on, I'll watch it again.
Do you cry every time?
Yeah.
I'm that type too.
Yeah.
I'll cry. I know what's going to happen.
Right. I know. And there's some movies that made me cry so much that I don't like to watch them again because The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks was the book.
Yeah.
I read the book. I read all of Nicholas Sparks' books, but I read the book and I would literally have to put it down from time to time because I'd be crying so hard my chest hurt.
Yeah, I cried in that movie too.
Yeah.
But favorite restaurant in Wakulla?
Probably we've gone a few times now to the Salty Donkey down on the water.
I haven't been there yet.
Liked it. Yeah, I like it.
Good.
I like it. Do you know I've not been to Trident? So
you haven't been to Trident?
I've not been to Trident.
Oh, you have to go.
We've talked about going. We just
You have to go.
We haven't gone. Yeah. So
now,
I have a feeling that would top.
Well, I don't know if they still do. I'm pretty sure they do, but they were doing brunch for a while. And I think it was till like 1:30 in the afternoon. And their brunch was so good.
I bet.
Like on Sundays after church, we would go. And that's Sage's favorite restaurant.
It's funny. Clients that come in from out of town, they'll ask me. And I always tell them Trident and hope that they don't ask me, have you been there? I've heard enough good stuff about them. So,
but that's the end of the lightning round.
Well,
that was fun.
Karen, this has been awesome. You are really, and I'm not just trying to give you a big head,
right?
But you really are an example of somebody who has built something. You had a vision, you went after it, you built something great. What I love about it, it's not about the number of deals or the number of closings. You have built something so much greater than that, and become somebody who is so impactful in this community. And I would encourage anyone listening to this, your story could really inspire not just somebody in real estate, but really anybody who has a dream, has a vision, and you're an example that it can be achieved if you just put in the work and you go after it. Yeah. So share this episode. If you have somebody or if you know somebody, I'm hoping that our listeners will share this with somebody who may need just a little encouragement.
Like somebody who may be burnt out at their current job and have been considering a change.
And you know what you said here? You said it a few minutes ago. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't give up on your dream.
And it's not just about the hustle. It's more about the heart. Like if you have the heart to do it, and you let your heart lead you, I think you'll and do right by people. Then I mean, you can't go wrong. You really can't.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, and also just thank you for being such a person to look up to for me personally and people around. So,
I told you could come to me anytime if you've got questions. Yes, I know I have a few young folks around the county that have talked to me about real estate, and I've kind of dabbled, and we've talked a little bit about maybe doing some mentorship at some point. And
you just really
I feel like we owe it.
Yeah, but you specifically, you really make, at least I know for me, and I'm sure other young people feel safe coming to you and asking the questions just with how you are and how you interact. So
it hasn't been that long ago. I didn't know all the answers. Well, I don't know all the answers now, and I'll never pretend to know them. But having the fortitude and the desire and the maturity to see things through, that you can't go wrong. You just you can't. So.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Great conversation.
Yep,
and until next time, thank you for being on the show.
I'm excited.
All right.
All righty. Thank you.